A Cleanskinner is between the dead simple life of the swapper, who only has to water and harvest the plants, and the grower, who has to breed those trillions of microscopic creatures which turn dirt into living soil, which is at the heart of the biota system, but does require some special skills. A Cleanskinner receives a box loaded with living soil, but has to seed and feed the creatures in the living soil. The first decision is what to grow. This is not so easy, as there are thousands of edible plants, many with reputed health benefits, but requiring their own growing methods. We normally only eat a small number of plants, so I recommend locating an online seed company who can supply a much wider range than the normal local shop. But what to choose from? So much depends on the local climate, and there is no way I can have knowledge of the growing conditions for all of those plants. I can tell you how I approach selection in my area. I think in terms of 3 types of plants. There are some plants which grow like weeds in my area of the dry tropic. Spinach and kangkong come to mind. They grow and grow regardless of what you or the weather do, so they provide a secure source of food. Then there are the more seasonal plants like broccoli, which only grow in our cooler winter. I need a bit of looking after and protection from the dreaded insects. Now let me be honest, these can be pretty boring, so I like to grow herbs, spices and specialty plants which can add flavour and provide specific health benefits. Flaxseed and watercress are good examples, as they are full of omega-3 and digestible iron. Now comes the problem of germination. Bioboxes are just a form of wicking boxes, which are watered from underneath, so the surface is dry and gives poor germination. I've done a lot of experiments to try and find the best way, and currently use 2 techniques. The first method is to seriously wet the soil before seeding. Then I will cover with a layer of vermiculite, which is very hygroscopic, water-loving, and sucks up the water, and finally a layer of biomin rock dust. I do not water again, just relying on the water that is already in the soil. However carefully you water, the vermiculite is so light that you can easily end up with all the seeds in the centre of the bed. I know, I learnt the hard way. But even in the dry tropics where I live, we can get monster rainstorms. I mean hundreds of mils in a few hours. Now that is serious rain, which can do a lot of damage. So I cover the bed with an old towel, underpants or whatever, and carefully wet these. This protects the seeds and seems to give even better germination. If really bad weather is forecast, I will build a rough and ready cover to protect from the pounding rain or hail. While the box will come loaded with food for the living creatures, not just the bacteria and fungi, but the worms which aerate the soil and have gut bacteria just like us, so we have to feed them. Their food is a mixture of organic waste like food scraps and grass clippings, manure, particularly from the neighbourhood chickens, and biomin, a blended rock dust. There are 2 ways which have their pros and cons. One method is just to dig a small hole and fill with a mix, cover with soil and plant. This has the theoretical disadvantage of disturbing the soil, but has the real advantage that the plants exude sugars from their roots, which is an important food source for the microbiology. The other method is simply to use a container to hold the food mix. This can simply be an old milk bottle with a bottom cut out. This is simply placed in a corner of the box and occasionally watered to flush the compost tea into the box. This takes up a bit of space, but there is no soil disturbance if you are seriously into no-till. But both methods work fine. For more information, go to our web www.gbiota.com and join the Gbiota Club, where you can meet up with like-minded people in your area in a safe environment without anyone trying to steal your personal information so they can sell you rubbish you don't really need.